Well, Michelle, it's been the issue of more illegal miners who have been arrested appearing before the Stilfontein Magistrate Court. But what was different today, or what is still, what remains to be different from other days, is the stakes now a bit higher in terms of those who are appearing in court. Earlier today, at about 11 o'clock, we saw a high presence of law enforcement agencies coming from different provinces. When we looked at the names of those provinces they're coming from, most of them were coming from Northern Cape, and of course we're told that one of the kingpin was who was being transported with that high presence of security into the court, and of course he did appear before the magistrate court. So he was one of the people who the police officers on the ground, but also in terms of intelligence, have been following for some time. I understand that he was arrested back in June for illicit mining, but also for breaking migration laws. So he has been appearing, in the Stilfontein Magistrate Court. This was his second appearance before the Stilfontein Magistrate Court. So, speaking to some insiders inside the courtroom, they were saying that he was one of the most high-profile individuals when it comes to the arrests which have been made in regards to the Operation Vala Umgodi since it started late last year, but also since August. So they're also alleging that he ranks very high in terms of the pyramid of illicit mining here in Stilfontein, Orkney, but also Klerksdorp generally. So that's where things were a bit different now compared to other days. But the way, average illegal miners, if I may use that word, whom we've seen before, their cases being heard, but also now the conversation had moved from just hearing what they're charged for, but now they're applying for bail, and most of their cases have been declined bail. So they'll be spending Christmas and New Year behind bars until next year, early in January, but also in Feb. Some will be returning in court in March. So that's where things were. But as far as the operations at the shaft, they've been halted today due to the weather. It's been raining here every hour. There's been some rainfall pouring down here where we are. But Michelle, let's get the latest now in terms of where these operations are as far as the South African Police Service are concerned here in the Northwest Province. I'm joined by Colonel Myburgh, who speaks for the SAPS here in the Northwest Province, just to get some update in terms of where we are now. Colonel, thank you very much. It's been interesting 6 weeks or so, but looking at the numbers, looking at the inroads that you are making, are you happy with how things have been unfolding? But most importantly, this is a Christmas week. What is your strategy? Are you going to tone down? Are you going to reinforce? What is the attitude of the SAPS in terms of where we are right now?
We are currently all boots on the ground. The police have never taken Christmas and New Year off, because we know that is the time where our criminal activities actually increase, because most people get leave this time of the year. So no, we are definitely not backing down. We are not taking a day off. We will continue with Operation Vala Umgodi right through Christmas and right through New Year. That will not stop.
I mean, looking at the numbers, some might have lost count in terms of the numbers where we are. Can you give us some insights, especially since Wednesday? It's been almost a long weekend if we don't calculate today, because there were no rescue operations taking place today. So it's technically a long weekend. How are we looking like now in terms of the numbers?
Well, since Wednesday, remember, we issued a statement. There was a total of 6 people that resurfaced on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we had 2 illegal miners. On Thursday, Friday 1, and Saturday 2. So that brings the total to 1,400 and plus minus 90 illegal miners that have resurfaced since the 18th of August up until then Sunday, which is the 22nd of December.
So now, in terms of preparing your officers, I know that they'll be on duty definitely, but in terms of the actual Vala Umgodi operations, are you planning to reinforce? Are you ready in terms of any eventualities? And what are some of the risks which your officers have been exposed to previously in terms of their own safety?
Now, we are absolutely ready. Our members are highly trained. They've been called up from other provinces, as you've indicated. We've got police officers here from Gauteng. We've got police officers here that are joining us that came from Kimberley, the Northern Cape, and so forth. And yeah, they will definitely remain here. They are called up and they will continue until the operation is finalized or dismantled. But currently, we are definitely continuing. As far as the safety of our members are concerned, obviously, every day you will see, before they get onto duty, we have a parade. They are inspected every morning to make sure that they have their bulletproof vests with them, that they have all their operational equipment ready. And the reason for that is we've had members that were shot at in the past. And it's not going to stop. As you were talking about kingpins and very dangerous criminals, and part of the illegal mining operations, we are working with very dangerous criminals. Yeah. So we cannot back down and now relax and think that nothing is going to happen to our members. We've had members that were shot at. Fortunately, we have not had a member that we've lost, but we've had members that were shot at, that were hospitalized, that were very seriously injured. So we will definitely not back down and keep our safety levels very high for our members.
I mean, when it comes to disciplines amongst your members themselves, you understand that this is a very sophisticated operation. It's driven by intelligence, but maybe that element of getting involved or conflicted, in these operations. How have you been ensuring that your own members do not become, participants in these illegal, operations that have been taking place, especially now that you are saying they are coming from different provinces, they are not familiar with the surroundings, they might not have some interest, but what's your attitude as management towards those elements of corruption amongst members of SAPS?
Well, we definitely have an absolute no-nonsense approach when it comes to corruption, and our members know that, and they are highly skilled and trained. It doesn't matter where you come from. Our basic training is the same. I was trained in Hammanskraal, but I'm based in the Northwest. So really the basic training when it comes to tackling crime remains the same for everyone. And then as far as corruption is concerned, I can say, remember, we had one of our own police officers in the Northwest that were involved. He was caught red-handed in Durban a few months ago whilst they were busy washing, this gold dust material in order to get the gold out of it. And he was arrested. And obviously, we take very, very strict and strong steps against members, and there's an expeditious process, meaning that person is definitely, if they are found guilty in a court of law, they are not police officers anymore. Our disciplinary actions are taken the moment one of our members are arrested. Yeah. And we do not, we immediately they're expelled. We do not tolerate corrupt police officers.
Very lastly, what has the relationship been like between the operations in terms of law enforcement, but also community activists and community members? Because on the ground, they need to work together. So what have you picked up in terms of the relations and the importance of ensuring that you have those good relations on the ground so that operations go smoothly? What has been your sense so far?
I must say, remember that under the MEC, there is a task team that was put together by the Minister of Police. And part of that task team is our community members. And I think this is a very good thing in a sense that it really assists us taking the hands with our community members to come up with solutions as to help these people get out. And obviously there's also a court of law that giving certain instructions to us to allow certain things to be taken down, food and so forth. So I think that we are not going to allow the community to do criminal acts. We are still law enforcement, but yes, we need to work together to tackle this problem.
Thank you very much, Colonel, for your time.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Michelle, that's Colonel Myburgh. They're just giving us some updated details in terms of how these operations have been going, but also looking ahead to the rest of the week as we'll be having a special day on Wednesday, which will be Christmas Day. But as we heard from her, that it will be business as usual, or even some more enforcement as far as those special days are concerned. So that's where we leave it for now. We'll continue just getting an update, but also some insights from the communities themselves, maybe in the next hour or two. It's back to you for now.
Ziniko, Mhlaba, live to us there in Stilfontein. Thanks very much indeed for that update. And we'll touch base with you a little later on in the afternoon.